All right, let's talk about marketing. You know, we're all swimming in it every single day. But what if I told you that most of what we think marketing is, the ads, the slogans, the social media posts, is just the tip of the iceberg? Today, we're going to go on a journey to find out why marketing even exists in the first place. And trust me, the answer is way more interesting than you might think. Let's get into it.
So yeah, this is the big question, isn't it? Why did we need to invent this thing? Was it really just so companies could figure out more clever ways to sell us stuff we don't need? Well, not exactly. The real reason is actually rooted in a huge problem that changed the world forever.
You know, for most of human history, things were pretty simple. If you wanted something, say a pair of shoes, you probably knew the person who made them. The shoemaker and the shoe wearer lived in the same town. There was no real distance, no separation. But then, the world started to get a lot bigger, and that direct connection, it started to break.
This all started happening a long time ago. So around the 1500s, you have this explosion of maritime trade. Ships crossing oceans, carrying goods to faraway lands, and for the very first time, you've got this massive physical distance between the person making the product and the person who's actually going to buy it and use it.
And this new distance, it had some huge consequences. I mean, suddenly you needed a new kind of job. The middleman, the merchant, the person who would bridge that gap. But this also meant that the craftsmen who made the goods, well, they had no idea who their customer was anymore. That personal relationship, that feedback loop, poof, it was gone.
Okay, so if that new distance created a crack in the old way of doing things, the Industrial Revolution came along and just shattered it. This is the moment right here where the modern problem that marketing was invented to solve really, truly takes off. All of a sudden, you've got factories that can just churn out products on a scale nobody had ever seen before. And on one hand, that's awesome. It means lower costs, more stuff for more people. But on the other hand, it introduced a brand new and frankly terrifying high-stakes problem: risk. The huge risk of making a ton of stuff that nobody wants.
And this is where the whole game flips on its head. Think about it. We went from the made-to-order world, where a customer asks for a chair and only then does the carpenter make it, to this new world of speculative production. Factories were now making thousands of chairs first, and then, hoping, just gambling, that they could find someone to buy them.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Imagine that feeling. You're the one running the factory. You're producing all these goods without being sure if the consumer wants the product or not. You're basically betting the entire company on a guess. That uncertainty is the whole problem.
And this is the light bulb moment. This is why marketing was born. It wasn't about shouting louder. It was invented as a strategic discipline to solve this giant, risky problem. It was the attempt to close that gap, to reconcile the supply from the factories with the demand from the people. So before you ever see an ad, before a price is even set, real marketing gets to work. It starts by focusing on these three core things. Who is our customer really? What do they truly want or need? And what is the competition already offering them? Get that right, and everything else follows. So once that homework is done, marketing pulls out its toolkit. And that toolkit has four main functions to actually bring the product and the customer together. Let's just quickly walk through what they are, because this is how the strategy turns into reality.
First up, you've got distribution. This is the how. How do we get this thing from the factory floor into a person's hands? It's all about building the pathways, whether that's a shelf in a store or a buy now button on a website.
Next up, price. And this is so much more than just a number. The price is a signal. It's a strategic message that communicates the product's value, its quality, its place in the market. It's a powerful form of communication all by itself.
And now we get to promotion. This is the one everybody thinks of when they hear marketing. But notice, it's the third step. The job of ads and PR isn't to create value out of nothing. It's to communicate the value that you've already carefully built with the product, the price, and the distribution. And finally, sales. This is the last mile, the moment of truth. After all that work of figuring out what to make, what to charge, and how to talk about it, this is the function that actually closes the deal. It's what turns all that interest into ownership. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this right here. Marketing's original mission
Its true purpose wasn't to be a megaphone for the factory. It was meant to be its compass. It was designed to reduce that huge risk of speculative production by guiding companies to make what people actually needed.
Which, leaves us with a pretty big question for today. In our world, with all its noise and endless choices, how well is marketing actually doing that original job? Has it perfected the match between what we make and what we want? Or has it maybe become something else entirely?